Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing our 2.1 notes on parallel lines today. We have lots of definitions, so don't forget, excuse me, as you go through to pause the video so that you can get these written down. I'm going to be checking them when you come in for class to make sure you have them written down. So our first definition is parallel lines. We are familiar with parallel lines. They're two straight lines in a plane that do not intersect at any point. Then we also have skew lines. So we kind of had seen the word before. Skew lines are two lines on different planes that do not cross. Okay, so an example would be where the line and floor meet, so that's one of the lines, and the line that would be skew would be the one that is on the wall across from it. So like here, we have one line here and one line here. They are on different planes. The bottom line is going to be over on this plane, and our top line is going to be over on this plane, and they're never going to cross. They're going to never intersect. Okay. So then we also have parallel planes. So that's what we see here. These are two planes that are never going to cross. So the reason why we talk about parallel lines is because we're going to deal in this unit about parallel lines and transversals. So the word transversal, it's a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines at different points. So if we look at our picture here, line T is our transversal. So line T is our transversal because it's running through points S and V. So when we have a transversal that cuts through two lines, they create multiple angles. So we have them labeled here, angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so those create certain types of angles. So our certain types of angles that we see, we have interior angles. Those are angles that lie between the two lines. So our lines, when we say between the two lines, we are looking at line S and line V. So my interior angles then are going to be angles 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Okay. Interior, they're inside the two angles or two lines. Then we also have exterior angles. Exterior angles are going to be the ones that lie outside of my red lines. So angles 1 and 2 and 7 and 8. Those are the ones that are on the outside of my red lines. All right, so let's talk about some of those angle relationships that are formed with these interior and exterior angles. So again, here we have our picture, and we are looking at line T. I'm going to just highlight line T here for us. Line T is our transversal, okay? And then we have our lines S and T. Those are going to be our two lines that the transversal is cutting through. So reminders, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are our interior angles, and our exterior angles are 1, 2, and 5, 7, and 8. So consecutive interior. Consecutive now means one right after the other. So like consecutive numbers, we would say would be like 7 and 8, -3 and -4, consecutive ones. So consecutive interior angles are angles that lie on the same side of the transversal, and they are interior. So if I go here, I have 3 and 6. 3 is here, and 6 is here, okay? They are both inside my red lines, and they are on the same side of my purple line. So those consecutive interior angles are supplementary, okay? So they add up to equal 180. Okay, so those are supplementary. They add up to equal 180. All right, then we have alternate interior angles. So really, if you just break down what the words say, that helps you figure out what we're talking about. Alternate. So we're talking about ones that are on opposite sides of the purple line, and interior, they are inside my red. Okay, so these are non-adjacent interior angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal. All right, so I have 3 and 5. So I'm going to color these ones with blue. Oops, that was not very clear. So we have this angle 3, and we have this angle 5. They're on opposite sides of my purple line, and they are inside my red lines, okay? Same thing here when we talk about angles 4 and 6. 4 and 6 are here. Those ones are going to be our alternate interior angles. And those angles are congruent, okay? So remember, congruent means that they have equal measure. So I can say angle 3 and angle 5 are equal and in measure, and angle 4 and angle 6 are equal in measure. So then we have alternate exterior angles. All right, alternate exterior angles are very similar to alternate interior, except for these ones lie outside of my red lines. So if we look here, we have angle 1 and angle 7. So angle 1 is here and angle 7. The same idea with angles, oops, I gotta pick a different color, 2 and 8. They are both outside my red lines, and they are both in or on opposite sides of my purple line. These angles are also congruent in measure. So they are equal measure, they're congruent, they have the same size and the same shape. Then we have corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are, they lie on the same side of the transversal and the same side of our two lines. So let me go ahead and clear my little colorings here so we get a fresh start. All right, so corresponding. What corresponding really says is I could take this line S and pick it up and lay it on top of line B, and these angles are going to correspond or lie on top of each other. So we have angles 1 and angle 5. They are both above the red line, and they are both to the left side of the purple line. We have angle 2 and angle 6. They are both above the red line, and they are both to the right of the purple line. We have angle 3 and angle 7. They are both on the right side of the purple line, and they are both below the red line. And then we have angles 4 and angle 8. They are both on the left side of the purple line, and they are both below the red line. So corresponding. And we're gonna really drill in these relationships here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's go ahead and just review a few more vocabulary things. We have perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines meet at a 90-degree angle, and we've talked about those already. And remember, they create 4 90-degree angles, so only one of them will be marked, but all 4 of them are there. All right, then we have vertical angles. Vertical angles, remember, are ones that are across from each other. So 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. And vertical angles are always congruent. So you can just draw the congruent sign in there, or you can write the word congruent. Okay. And then we have linear pairs. So don't forget, linear pair are 2 angles that add up to make a straight line. So angle 1 and angle 2, they make a straight line. Angle 2 and angle 3 make a straight line. Angle 3 and 4 make a straight line, and 1 and 4 make a straight line. So they form a straight line, and then, yeah, we can write straight line. You can write they're equal to 180. They're supplementary. Any of those are okay to write in there. All right, so now we're going to use the idea of parallel lines and vertical angles and linear pairs to help us figure out the angles of all of these measures. Okay, so if this measure here is 118 based on vertical angles, I know that the vertical one is also 118. Same idea here with this one is 62. So this one is 62 because based on vertical angles, they are congruent. Now, if I look at my GCE is 118, so my GCD is its linear pair. So this adds up to 180. So go ahead and take 180 and minus 118. Minus that 118 to find out what our GED equals. All right, did you get that? That one is 62 degrees. So then vertical angles says that this one is also 62 degrees. Now, if I look at this relationship here, I'm going to keep the same idea here. This measure of this, our angle CBA is 62, so CBF is going to be supplementary, and so that one's also going to be 118. And then I can use vertical angles, and here we're going to have 118. All right, so we use that same thought process over here. My vertical angles tell me that this is 83, so this one's going to be 83 over here. And if this is 97, this one's going to be 97. Okay. Then we can use the idea of supplementary angles. So MJI is supplementary with supplementary or linear pair with IJO. So if I go ahead and take my 180 and minus my 97, you probably have already guessed it's going to be at 83. So vertical angles tells me that this is also going to be 83. And then supplementary or linear pair right here, M or NKJ is a linear pair with JKP. So this one is going to be 97 and 97 because of vertical angles. All right, so we will start tomorrow with these. We're going to talk about their angle relationships, and then we're going to use those in some examples here. And we will do those when we are back together in class. All right, thanks.